Ooh, we are live. What up, y'all? It's your man, Abuamerican. I'm here with. Say your name for me. Do that.
Hello, it's Giselle here.
Giselle. Okay, I've been saying it right. I was. Sometimes I pronounce it like the animal Gazelle, and I was like, I'm pretty sure that's not
No.
right. Okay, Giselle. All right. So, Giselle, you are quite the troublemaker, aren't you?
Yes, I am. Recently, I've become a troublemaker. I haven't always been one.
What you got against fat people? Why you fat shaming them people? What's going on, girl? What's up with that?
The thing is, it's being overweight is just it's unhealthy. And recently there has been a shift in modeling, and Calvin Klein. They're always advertising people who are so overweight.
Hmm.
And I think it gives the impression to people who are actually overweight that, you know what, this is okay, this is good, this is fine. When actually you're encouraging a very unhealthy lifestyle. It's not good to be so overweight. You'll get
Hmm.
sick, you're predisposed to so many conditions. So I don't hate them. They've got to know it's it's not okay.
Yeah, it's really not. It's and it's just yeah. It's in general, it's not nice. I mean, there's like this. Do you know any fat people?
Yes, of course.
Well,
There's
I
fat
mean,
people
you never
everywhere.
know. Well, yeah, but I mean, I'm just saying, fat people even feel and smell different, And I'm not trying to get banned or nothing here, but I'm just saying, it's not. There's a different like texture to the skin and everything, and they have like a smell that's different. I don't know. I can't call it bad, but it's just different,
Maybe
So
because their skin is stretched.
it could
That's
be,
why it's different.
could be. But anyway, yeah. All in all, you know. Oh man, I don't know if I don't have to be politically correct with you, do I?
Not really. I guess I'm not the most politically correct
No,
person
you're
on.
not. You're
No.
quite based. You're more based than some dudes. It's just fat people. They don't look nice naked. It's just
How many fat people have you seen naked?
How many people? Fat people I see naked. Oh, probably too many. Just like yeah. Like I said, they're everywhere. I mean, if you're in a bikini and you're a big person, you're basically naked. So you know. Oh, you know what? I've dealt with this right here. You know what? Before we go any further, let's deal with this right here. I've heard this before. They say, why give her an audience? She's a fake profile on Twitter. Why else would she not even put her webcam on? I've been told you're a bot. I've been told you're a fake account. All this type of stuff. Here you are.
I'm right here. Anybody who thinks I'm fake, well, I can't be a robot. I can't be a bot because I'm physically talking and interacting. But especially during like Ramadan, I don't really want to be on camera, with my family and things like that. It's a special time for us. We're fasting, we're praying. I don't really want, the whole world to be seeing me. I've just finished my prayers. I'm in my hijab. So maybe after Ramadan, if you guys want to see me, we can arrange. But right now, it's a very special and personal time for me. I want to be, private.
Okay. Well, if you come back after Ramadan, that's gonna be members only. So you got to join and be a channel member. You won't see the show. That's it. You got to go premium, guys. It is what it is. No. Anyway, so that was also something interesting that surprised me that you're Muslim. I mean, I don't want to go into too much personal detail. You want to talk about your origins or anything like this? I mean, you down for that? What's up?
Yeah. So basically, my mother is from Egypt.
Okay.
So she's quite a strong Muslim. She raised us with very not too liberal, but Islam was always the back of it was the backbone of our upbringing.
Mm.
My father is from Tanzania, so he's also Muslim. So I've had quite a strong Muslim influence, but during my life I traveled quite a bit. So let's maybe I'm a little bit westernized than most Muslims.
Okay.
But yes, a lot of people are surprised that I'm Muslim. That's not the first time I've heard that. Maybe people have the stereotype of Muslims, wearing a hijab, being very conservative. But I mean, it is the 21st century now. You have to be, people are changing, people are evolving. So why did
Okay.
that surprise you?
It just did. I mean, I don't know, the tweets and all that stuff. Not that they're bad. I mean, your tweets are pretty, they're pretty conservative. I suppose it's maybe your profile picture actually more than anything else kind of surprised me. You know,
I think because not many women have that
yeah.
basic knowledge of how women should behave.
That's also, you seem to have like very conservative like ideas in regards to gender dynamics when it comes to males and females. I mean, you have very classical gender. What do they call them now? That they try to make it sound negative.
Social justice.
Yeah, it's the SJW is always using that term. Gender roles. That's what it is. You seem to have very classical gender role ideas. That's what I mean. Am I wrong about that or what?
So I do. The thing is, these days, everybody wants equality and everybody wants, different things. But I have a very traditional view on how it should be. The man should open the door for you. He should pay for dinner. The woman should be taken care of. I don't believe in this feminist hype of, women want to be above the man or they want to be in charge or I mean, I believe in respect. They should of course always be respect, but I don't agree with this new, generation Z, how they believe, that the woman should pay for dinner and the man should sit at home and take care of the children. And for me, it's completely ridiculous.
I would agree. The boy Michael Scott got these questions today. Look at this, Michael Scott. It's with the.
Got saying about my picture, and he's not even got his own picture. He's got an actor.
Isn't it funny? See, he said, "Would you be open for polygamy?"
Polygamy. The thing is, as I've spoken about on Twitter, my grandfather was polygamous and he had more than one wife. And in Islam, that's not anything alien to us. It is in the culture, especially in the Egyptian culture.
Okay.
But personally, I believe in monogamy. I don't know if I'll feel comfortable my husband having, more than one wife. But, never say never. For now, I'll say no. But in the future, we don't know.
Well, show's over. Guys, thanks for tuning in. No, I'm joking.
I know it.
I'm just playing. No, I'm joking. Well, let's get that you're honest with yourself. You know what you can and can't take,
I think we're gonna see simps here coming.
I never berate people for, monogamy. You obviously know from my Twitter that I'm a polygynous guy. So I just wanted to entertain the guy's question. Yeah. So Twitter, how long have you been on Twitter? Because you just sort of popped up out of the blue. I mean, you just came out of nowhere and you just started like dropping tweets on people and like, went all based on everyone. How long have you been on Twitter?
I've been on Twitter for around 3 months.
Wow.
Very, very short. It's a very new concept to me. That's why I took the course, Lawrence's course, because I didn't really understand Twitter that well.
Okay.
But I went on it and I just, I needed to speak. I needed to speak about some things. And I just thought this is a good profile for me just to get it all out. And then the world responded, I guess.
Yeah. You've got like how many followers? Hold on, let me take a look here. Oh my, hold on 1 second, right there.
Around 5,600.
Yeah, it's not even showing actually. Oh yeah, 5,600. Yeah, in like what 4 months did you say? 3 months, 4 months? That's pretty good.
Around the end of January is when I joined.
Wow, that's pretty good. Yeah, making making a fast ascent. Yeah, on Twitter.
10 years now.
What?
How long you been?
I don't know. I've been actually using Twitter, like actually using it like what, 2 years, 2.5 years?
No way.
What, 3 years?
No.
I haven't actually. It's not a platform I've used before. Like it's like 3 years now.
Before me?
No, when you showed up, I started using Twitter after you showed up.
Sorry.
Dork. She over here like trying to. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, that's pretty good sense. So you're saying Lawrence? I know Lawrence passively. I mean, I talk to him here and there, not so often anymore. I used to talk to him a little bit more frequently in the past, and he had a course on what exactly? Twitter engagement, is it?
Yes, just how to use Twitter, how to make the most of your account, things like that.
Well, obviously, it works well.
Yes.
So,
Evidently.
getting banned. Now, talking about big people didn't get you banned. What got you banned from Twitter for what? How long is it now?
I think a few weeks.
What weeks? Really?
Days.
I was gonna say, man, they put you in Twitter jail forever. Holy smokes! What got you? What
I
got
need to
you?
get out of Twitter jail ASAP. I have too many tweets.
So what got you in Twitter jail?
I think it was just people reporting the page, and I think some of my tweets were controversial. The most recent tweet about fat people buying junk food, for example.
Mm,
That's what got me into Twitter jail, basically.
that's yeah. I was arguing with those people. And I just started blocking them. There's a bunch of weirdos. They just pop up with some crazy stuff. And you can't really have conversation with people who aren't rational, unfortunately. Zaki with the $5 super chat. Salam, brother. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Black Muslim in the house. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you and your family. And you. I mean, Jazakallah khair, bro, for the $5 super chat. Yeah. So is this your first ban, or have you? I mean, you've been like dropping some pretty base tweets here and there for quite some time. Is this the first time you've actually had to face like the Twitter justice, social justice ban hammer, or is this like the first time?
I think this is the first time that I've been banned.
Hmm.
I'm sure there'll be many more bans coming my way because I'm not. I'm not. The thing is, if I have this, when I started this and it was growing so quickly, I just thought, what? If anybody's going to say it how it is, it's going to be me. And if I'm going to be banned, then yallah, just ban me. A few hours in jail, I'll come up with more tweets. I'm unbanned. I'm back on the scene.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. You're gonna end up like Andrew Tate, like making like 80 accounts, right? That dude made like 100 accounts. He just wouldn't go away. Andrew Tate's the guy who wouldn't die. So you're gonna have to do the same thing, I guess. Phantom Zone says all the people who defend the fat thing, I think it's called obesity, bro, all have pronouns in their bio and look fat. Yeah, what's that guy's name? He got in on it too. Oh man, Stephen Story. He jumped in on that, and he was just banning people for having, they'd engage with him, and he'd look at their profile and he said, pronouns in their bio banned. What do you think of that? Do you have pronouns in your bio? Let me check this out. Oh, no. What do you think of pronouns in the bio? What's your opinion on pronoun people?
Honestly, I think it's absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely. Like,
No, you don't.
the thing is, when you're born a man or you're born a woman. You can't wake up one day and say, yalla, let me now be a man. Like, you don't know what men go through. You don't know what women go through. It's really ridiculous.
I agree.
Especially people who are now they. You cannot be they. You are one person. You cannot be a plural. You are a singular. Grammatically, it's incorrect.
I mean, I'm an English teacher. You won't find me, arguing with you on that one. I'm trying to look for the offending tweet. I mean, I'm surprised it actually doesn't say this account has been suspended. But because normally you get that little pop-up that says account has been suspended.
Maybe I'm out. I think I had a few hours left.
Oh, so this is actually okay. So you got banned like yesterday or something then?
I think so, yes. It was the tweet about Charlize Theron that I think tipped the boat.
What's up with her? What did she do?
Her child, I think she adopted a child, and the child is now transitioning into a boy. I can't tweet right now, basically. If I try and tweet, it will not allow me to post.
Oops. Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Is
I
my mic
can.
on? Okay, cool. So let's talk about that real quick. This entire, like, I suppose this is a pretty stupid question from someone who's like half Egyptian, half Tanzanian. Uh, because Africa is pretty, like, they're pretty clear cut on this stuff. You don't really find this transgender stuff going on and transitioning going on in Africa, anywhere in Africa or the Arab world. Opinions, give it to me. What do you think?
To be honest, I grew up in quite obviously a strict household, and my peers in school and my people I was surrounded with, I never really heard about transvestites, gays, all of this until I started traveling. In Addis, where I am right now, I mean, you don't see guys walking down the road holding hands and kissing, and for me, it's haram. That's all I can say, and it's I think also the Islamic influence in my life.
Hmm.
It's I don't hate it, but I really don't agree with, you can't, maybe these people have a type of a chemical imbalance, maybe, because I don't think you can wake up and now, oh, let me be a man, or no, there has to be some type of illness. It's not normal. That's what I feel, honestly.
I have to agree. I mean, I think it's you have to be careful. YouTube will come for me. They really don't like me, but they can't really ban me because I kind of keep it cool. I think there's some sort of mental issues going on there, some sort of, well, if you look at, like, what's that guy's name?
Caitlyn Jenner.
No, actually, is a doctor. He's a pro-black nationalist doctor, Dr. Omar Johnson, and he like focuses on the African American community, and this behavior has affected the African American community recently, and he was showing that, like, clinical studies from his particular practice, that anyone, male or female, who's in this entire, we'll call it gender dysphoria, I think it was the term at one point before it became normalized, had some sort of traumatic sexual experience, aka molestation, in the early years of their life. So probably, I think it's just a bunch of people out there who need therapy, and they're running around. This is going to get me banned. I can tell you right now. This is going to get a strike.
Your video.
Yeah, this is going to get a strike. Do not try and demonetize this video, okay? It's going to get demonetized. So yeah, it's probably something like that. Probably dealing with, like, some sort of emotional and mental issues. But you did say you spent some time in the UK. Is that correct? Did I understand that correctly?
Yes, that is correct.
Media. I think she works in media.
I don't know. So in the UK, was that like a culture shock type thing when you went there and you saw that? Because I'll tell you a story real quick. I was working in Old Street in London. I worked for a tech company, and I worked in the graphics department, article segmentation, for a media intelligence corporation. I go in the subway, run down, to the underground, come around the corner, and there's two, like, fully bearded dudes, just like, just tongue fighting each other, WWE style. Like, yeah, that's what I said. Like, right, I just came around the corner, almost ran into him. I was just like, I was, I really like, ugh. I wasn't ready for that, and I grew up out here in the West. So I can imagine you coming from, like, the background you come from. How was it when you hit London and you saw the world?
I was very, very shocked. I was also a little bit disturbed. I called my friends at home and I said, brother, you can't believe the haram things that are happening here. This one is getting with this one. It's just debauchery. There is no, direction. Everybody's getting with everybody. There's nothing for yourself. You know what I mean? There's
I
no
do.
boundary. I saw so many things, and then obviously I made friends with my colleagues, and I was just thinking, astaghfirullah, like, all these things that you guys are doing, it's not okay. But you have to, when in Rome, right? I just had to keep to myself, keep my opinions to myself, get on with my work. You also don't want to be too vocal, then obviously you can get victimized. There's a lot of hate, a lot of Islamophobia in England. So you have to just keep to
Did you have to
yourself,
deal
I
with any of
guess.
that? Like, did you have to deal with any sort of, anti-Muslim, anti-Islam sentiments out there? Is that something you had to deal with?
Well, not really. I mean, I think if I wore a hijab, it would be different. But the way I dress is a little bit westernized. I wear jeans and I have my hair showing. I love makeup, so I don't really experience that. But if you're having a conversation with someone and then they say, "Oh, would you like some bacon?" and I say, "Ah, haram," I don't eat
Mm,
pork. And they're like, "Oh, why are you vegetarian?" And I say, actually, no, I'm Muslim. I think a lot of people kind of take a step back and think, oh my God, she's Muslim. Why isn't she wearing a hijab? Why is she out? Why is she talking to guys? I
mm.
think it's more of they have like a knee-jerk reaction. It changes their perception of you, I think.
Okay.
So I got a lot of that. I got a lot of shifts in my
Negative?
friendship. Slightly negative, slightly, yes. Like,
Mm.
then they were not as warm with me. They would watch what they'd say around me.
You're
They
one of
wouldn't.
those.
Yes, you're one of them.
Yeah, yeah. I get that. I get that too. I mean, I think probably because I'm, somewhat extroverted, and so I tend to get along with a vast demographics, large demographic of different people, ethnicities and whatever else. And then it's like, oh gosh, you're Muslim? I'm like, yeah, I'm Muslim. But I think it's kind of easier for guys because, especially when it comes down to, being polygynous, guys like women. And so, that seems to be a unifying point between all men of all cultures. And so when you start talking about that and the lifestyle I live and whatnot, then they're just like, what? And so, yeah, I don't know if women have that or not, but, guys, yeah. I recently read an article that most transgender people have regretted their decision transitioning. That is what happens when you defy biology. Yeah, I've seen a lot of articles like that too. A lot of people, they become suicidal. The transgender community, you see this right here, got people banned, but I'm going to say it anyway. The transgender community has the highest suicide rate out of all groups, period. Yeah. Sharia Defense Force, and what is this a question for her or for me? I don't know. Do you consider yourself red pill here?
What's red pill?
Oh, there you go. See, so
So I guess not. Sharia defense and enforcement. The answer is, what is red pill?
I guess you got to raise your daughter right, and then I think that's the only way. I don't think there's any other way to it. Now you got to raise your kids right, man. That's it. There's nothing more to it. I don't think there's another way to do it. You're gonna have to explain. Yeah, you can't. I think you have to. I think that's something that starts in the house. I think that's a family thing, bro. I don't think there's
Red pill women.
Yeah, I don't think there's such a thing.
Yeah, you have to be one.
I think I think in the Twitter sphere, all those red pill women are mostly LARPers, man. They're, live action role players. They're not really the real deal in that sense. Yeah, and I agree with that. It has to be an upbringing thing. It can't be like you have to train someone into that or you can train someone into it. All those women in the manosphere zone were all, in the male space over there on Twitter, they're all LARPers, bro, bar none. So what do we talk about here? We talked about like your background. You can definitely hear the Egyptian side when you say haram. There's definitely hear that. Have you spent any time in the Gulf? Just a quick question. I'm just curious. Have you spent any time in the Gulf, like Dubai? Not Dubai in specific, but I was in Qatar for 7 years and whatnot. Have you ever been out there to that section of the world? I mean, because I'm asking because you spend time in the West. You're obviously at home, and for me personally, finding a place that I can consider as home as a Western revert Muslim is dodgy. It's kind of difficult. I don't want to stay here, but then when I go out to the Middle East or, it's kind of like them people are kind of strange to me. And then if you go to Africa, I'm not really African, and everybody knows I'm not African in that sense, even though, I kind of fit the physical description. So for you, home, have you found it? I mean, it might seem like a rhetorical question, but
I think you can make home anywhere you want, to be very honest. If you travel, people who travel, people in the army, I think home is where your loved ones are. I don't think home is a physical place.
She's a woman.
Yeah, I guess that might be a good point. I mean, my wife said you could. I mean, that's because you're a woman. I mean, I think for men it's slightly different, maybe. I mean, if I go somewhere, she's gonna follow me. You know, I mean, generally that's what it is. I mean, if I go somewhere, I can probably get my daughter to follow me. But you know, for a guy, it's slightly different. So I was just curious about that.
Where would you say home was?
I don't really have one, to be honest. I mean, I'm in Germany, but I don't like it here. I didn't like it in Qatar. Don't like it in the US. I definitely don't like the UK. I mean, I just so I don't consider that I have a home. You know, I'm probably gonna die like, you know, the American, what is it, the American Gypsy or something like this. You know, I don't really think I have a home, to be honest. There's not a place where I go and I just feel like, you know, hey, I can chill here. And these are people I want to be around. I really don't like, as extroverted as I am, I really don't like being around people. You know, it's and I haven't found an entire culture where I'm like, you know, this is a people where I can say I'd want to be around them, you know, long term.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough.
What age do you think men and women should get married ideally? Since you're my guest, I'll let you take that.
I think it's different for every person, but I think women should be married before 30, just for if you want to have children, it's easier, all of the above. To get married young is best, I think. I don't think people should be getting married when they're like 60 years old.
Man, you said before 30 for a woman. Don't you think it should be a little bit earlier?
Before 30. 30 is like the absolute
Yeah, but what if she
absolute.
waits till 29? I don't know. I'm just saying. I think a woman should get married as early as possible. I made a video about this, so you know. I mean,
What is your youngest age?
I think 18, man. Get married early. I think a woman should like leverage her youth and beauty and her, you know, as early as possible, because the reality is, fertility for women from a biological sense is like a, you know, it's a steady slope until it hits about like 28. Now obviously ethnicity, lifestyle, whatnot plays a role into this, but after 28 it basically drops off a cliff. You know, it starts a very steep decline very rapidly. And so I think a woman, because she has like a limited fertility window, she should take advantage of that. But then you got your whole life to actually, like, you know, actually pursue career, education, whatever else later, especially now because it's been made easier than ever. So I think the roles have been reversed in terms of like time frames. I think the early years of a woman's life should be, you know, in the reproductive stage. And then after that, you know, raising children, whatever else, until she hits about 28. And then at about 28, the kid should be, you know, on autopilot mode, going to school and whatnot, and then she can focus on education and career. That's my take. I think it's all being done backwards. Men are the opposite. We have a lot to build. You know, men are made, women are. You know, and so men have to build themselves, and they have to build their, you know, their career, their financial status, their financial well-being, for lack of a better term. And so for men. Sorry, I'm looking at the questions here. I'm like, what the heck? So I think men need to marry a little bit later. You know?
Yes, normally men do marry later.
Yeah.
Maybe because of maturity as well.
Could be. Abuamerican, what school of thought do you follow when it comes to dating? I don't believe in dating, my man. I'm a discipline AMS and Mark. I don't know. I know AMS, but I don't know who this Marquis, Devon. I don't know who any of these guys are. I don't believe in dating, bro. I'm a Muslim, so you know we don't date.
Why don't you believe in dating?
Because I'm Muslim. We don't date. Dating comes after marriage. I mean, if there's a basic attraction between the two, to where it's like, you know, all right, this is a person I like, you know, this is a person I could deal with, then you know, get married and then date after that. You know, love marriages tend to not work anyway. You know, love marriages, they tend to go south very quickly. So I think the more time a person spends before they're married together, somehow it like removes the investment later on in a relationship. I don't know why, but statistics prove it to be correct that arranged marriages last longer than love marriages. So, and dating is nothing but love marriages, but fundamentally it just opposes Islam. And so I'm pretty anti dating, you know. But it's become a part of the world we're in, unfortunately. You know, it's very rare that you're going to find brothers and sisters, like, you know, not meeting up somehow and then quote unquote dating, by definition, drinking coffee together or whatever else, just to get to know each other. It happens. And so, I mean, I deal with that reality, but I'm not really a big fan of it.
I can see why.
Sheikh Shako Akhtar with the What is that? Oh, 400 rupee donation. Barakallahu feek, bro. See you up in the men's community. It's one of my homies from the men's community. There was a question here. Where is it? I know the answer to this one. So, are you a dating coach? Are you a female dating coach?
Well, not really. I don't give advice and lessons. I just kind of speak what I think, what I feel, and if you want to take the advice, you can take it. If you don't, I can't. I'm not a dating coach because I never really dated, so I can't give advice for something I've not done. You know, I can't come and start telling you how to play football. I don't know. You know, so I'm not. If you like the advice and you're looking at it from a female perspective, then of course you can take the advice. But other than that, every love marriage in my social circle ended in divorce. Why do you think that is?
Oh, man, I only have theories. I can't really say. You know, love marriages are fundamentally based upon like immediate passion of surface level attributes and ideas. You know, really, most of the time, love marriages are based upon, let's just be honest, it's based upon lust. And lust is always going to be there between males and females. So now you have to look deeper than, you know, what's beyond that. And I talk about this a lot. It's called biological imperatives. We understand biological imperatives. You're hungry, you eat. You're horny, you find a partner to do whatever else. You got to go to the bathroom, you go to the bathroom. Well, in animals, this is expressed in an immediate, like unstructured fashion, you know, unless it's cats that bury their poo or something. But in general, because of the lack of intelligence, animals, they express their biological imperatives immediately and instantly. Humans are technically the same way. But what we start to do is we start to rationalize our imperatives through intellect. But what we're looking at is a core base animalistic behavior. And so when we start looking at males and females, reproduction being like one of the strongest drives of, you know, any biological creature, there you go. I mean, people start like rationalizing the ideas for their lust, which is really, they just, you know, they want to make the private parts meet. And then so they start coming up with different ideas, concepts, whatever else, why this person is so special and whatever else. What they really want to do is they just want to, you know, they want to do the hokey pokey in the bedroom, you know. And so I think that's what it is. And when that starts to wear off, you know, and that could take time, that could take years at times, because sometimes what happens is people, they meet each other and then it just becomes comfortable. It becomes easy to actually meet that demand and that need, you know, because it's difficult to go out and actually find a partner that you're attracted to and is attracted to you. It's a lot of work. And so it becomes easy to stay together over a long period of time until that actually happens one day, that they meet somebody else. And then they're like, oh, wow, this is a better version of what I have already. And that can happen to the man, that can happen to the woman. Of course, men have it easier because, you know, Islamically, at least, you know, if we find a woman that he considers to be better, although that's usually not the case, that he thinks a woman is better than his, he just actually finds another woman that's willing to be in a polygynous relationship, he marries her also. But a woman doesn't have that option, so it's a little bit more dire for her. In order for her to, like, you know, level up, you know, she's gonna have to divorce her guy or cheat or whatever else. And so that's why I think they don't last, because I don't think they're built on anything other than desires, in my humble estimation.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Michael's. I think Michael's got the hots for you. He said, "What are your bigger turnoffs in men?" She said she didn't date. So, what are your biggest turnoffs in men?
So the thing is, actually, my father introduced me to my fiance, who I'm now engaged to. So I never really had the opportunity for dating. I mean, long nails for me makes me feel sick. One thing. If I see a man with very long nails, hygiene, of course. I think that's the biggest one. Hygiene. If somebody is smelling and their teeth are grotty, I can't even talk to them. So
What? What? Sorry, yeah.
grotty, like, you know, with like gunge on their teeth.
So okay, poor dental hygiene and this type of stuff. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I'm just reading some of the comments here. So online, let's go back to online. I see in your Twitter bio here, where is it? I had this up here for a reason. You do coaching.
Mm-hmm. So yes, I started exploring. It's not really taken off yet, but I think I was getting a lot of messages of people asking me questions on how I, got there. So what I was, basically, Lawrence is the one who got me where I want to be. I don't really
Okay,
do coaching myself. Like, I guess if people have been asking me, like, how did you get here? How did you do this? So I've always said that Lawrence King is the one that does the coaching, and he's the one that I learned from.
gotcha. Yeah, I see it here because it's like, wow, 200 a day with email, dude. It's not bad. Do you make $200 a day with email? No, I'm just don't tell me about your money. I don't want to know. I don't want to know about your money. I'm just joking. But I'm like, hey, if you're doing it, and he actually taught you how, I might have to get in on this. Yeah. Let me ask you a different question. I'm gonna ask you some not personal questions, but questions that personally interest me. Are you in cryptocurrency? Do you purchase cryptocurrency? You're in that whole zone, Bitcoin and whatnot.
No, I don't. That is something that eventually I would really want to get into. But I don't really understand it, so it's not something that I'm interested in right now.
Okay.
Maybe,
See.
I'll do some tutorials and maybe learn about it.
hmm
Maybe in the future when I have more free time, I can, sit down and actually do it properly.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Jeez, this guy, Michael, man, Michael, if you want to ask another question, you need a super chat, bro. Come on, man. You be asking all sorts of mad questions, Mike, super chat, and you can ask your next question.
What is his question?
Does her fiance know about her Twitter account beliefs?
Yes, of course. He has access to my account. He looks at my Twitter if he wants to. I'm not hiding anything. I mean, he knows my name and how I look, so he'll find me on Twitter anyway. So maybe some things we're not on the same page, but I'm an individual, so if I can't always be, I'm not his. If I want to say something, then I say it, and then I'll deal with the consequences.
Wow. Okay, that's surprising. You didn't really strike me as the like give your man access to your social media type there. That's I'm impressed. I
I
don't know
just
why. I had to.
The thing is, I was getting a lot of messages and a lot of men, coming into my DMs, and I didn't want any kind of secrets or, insecurities with my fiance. I wanted the full transparency. So the way that I did that is I said, this is my login, this is my password. When you want to go and have a look, yalla, you can go. We have a very honest and open relationship.
MashaAllah. MashaAllah. So can I talk to this guy? No, I'm joking. What is I don't know how deep you want to go into it. What does he do? I mean, what is he as based as you are, or I mean, you said you had some ideology differences, but I mean, has he got like some pretty,
I
lose weight
mean, well,
mentality
the
type?
thing is, so Ahmed is very traditional as well. He believes in some similar things like traditions and how, the role of a man and the role of a woman within a relationship. So that's why we get along so well, I guess, because our main views are the same.
Okay.
Sometimes he thinks I'm a little bit too harsh with some of my tweets, and he says, Giselle, this is not nice. You shouldn't be saying this. But I say, Yalla, I've already done the tweet now. It's gone on the internet. So there's nothing I can do.
Okay. So I don't know. You said he's traditional. Does this mean like he's going to ask you to, the hijab part?
Mm,
Is that
I don't think so. We've not had that conversation yet. I don't think he would force me to wear a hijab. I think he understands it's up to me. It's my choice.
okay?
So I don't, I mean, you shouldn't be forcing anyone to do anything really at the end of the day.
Well, no, it's done for the sake of Allah, but I mean, it is. Anyway, it's a different conversation. But yeah, I mean, Islamically, it should be, the husband is like kind of responsible there. So I'm just curious, what's your response going to be if he says like, I'd like you to put that on? I'm curious. What would you tell him? He says,
I
I'd like
think
to
I
wear
would
it.
ask him. I think I would ask him, what is your reason? Why do you want me to wear the hijab? Do you want me to wear it for you? Do you want me to wear it for Allah? Do you think I should be following Islam? What is your reason? And then I
Mm.
think if he had a good enough reason, I think when I'm older and I have children, maybe I will wear the hijab. I think it'll be good. Um, for also to be a role model for my children.
Okay. Okay. You know, I disagree, but hey, you know, it's all good.
Do your wives wear the hijab?
They wear niqab actually, but
Ah,
that's their personal choice. You know, I mean, niqab is their personal choice, but hijab is a requirement for me. I mean, it's an absolute must as a man. You know,
so you would allow your wife, you would not allow her not to wear a hijab.
I just wouldn't get married to her. I mean, if I, you know, me personally, from my position, like if my potential was a woman who wasn't covering, and I say, look, you know, when we get married, you should be wearing it now already. You know, because it is an Islamic requirement. You know, but definitely, you know, when we get married, it's not something that I would like, you know, I'd be okay with, you know, just running around without it. And that's me, you know, I personally, so I wouldn't get married personally from the start.
Okay, and you
Because,
think that is because of you as a person, or do you think that she should be following the Islamic?
well, she should be following Islam. You see, there's a hadith where the Messenger of Allah, peace be upon him, you know, he said something to the effect of like, what was it? I just had it in my head now, I lost it. Anyway, man is accountable for his women. And that's what it was. A man who is married to a disobedient woman will never smell the fragrance of paradise. Now, when obviously he says disobedient, he doesn't mean disobedient to the man in a sense. He means disobedient to Allah. And so, no hijab is to a degree, not even to a degree. It's directly, you know, a type of disobedience to Allah. And so, I didn't become Muslim so that I could, like, you know, face a lot of anger from Allah. It's actually the opposite. I was trying to look for some mercy from Allah. You know, as much as I like women, I'm not willing to put myself, you know, in a position with Allah, you know, for a woman.
So were you born Muslim?
No, I reverted in 1998.
Why did you revert?
It's the truth. It's pretty obvious. Guidance. Hidayah min Allah. Guidance is from Allah first and foremost. But I was already looking for, you know, something in terms of belief. Christianity wasn't doing it for me. When I really explored deeply into Christianity, it's a mess. It's a hot mess. And a homie of mine, he was deployed at the time to Saudi Arabia. He'd just come back from deployment and he had become Muslim. And he was telling me a lot of stuff that didn't make a lot of sense to me in the sense of my understanding of Islam. And I knew he was my homie because I went to high school with him. And so I was like, you know what, this dude wouldn't lie to me. And so I started listening to him. And yeah, it made a lot of sense. Everything fit perfectly, especially in the position of, like, you know, the prophets and the messengers, because according to Christianity, the prophet, you know, Isa, you know, is the son of God. And I never believed that as a Christian. And so that put everything in the correct perspective with the prophets and the messengers and, you know, the whole Trinity stuff. The Muslims actually have a better description and understanding of the Trinity than the Muslims do. I mean, than the non-Muslims do, than the Christians do. And so, yeah, I became Muslim because I believed it.
MashaAllah.
Yeah. Makes perfect sense.
Yes, it does. It's always fascinating to me to see people who've reverted into Islam and their reasons.
But why is that? Let me ask you, why is that? Why I always find this to be an odd question from Muslims, you know, who were born into Muslim families.
The thing is, if you're born into a Muslim family, a lot of the time you don't question, you know, Islam is Islam and it's the right religion and this is what you believe in. But people from the outside, I've met a lot of people who've reverted into Islam and they found a lot of peace and a lot of happiness from their previous lives. But another thing that I found is people in times of trauma, in times of need, have always turned to Islam.
Yeah.
So it's interesting for me because I haven't known any different, you see. I've only known Islam. So for somebody to be born into Christianity or Hinduism and then turn to Islam, the reasons are always different.
Gotcha. Yeah, you know, because it's the truth to me, you know, and then someone asked me, I'm like, you know, you've been on the truth your whole life. And it's like, and then you ask me why, you know, why would you come to the truth? I'm just like, what? That's what I hear when people ask me, why would you become Muslim? Why'd you become Muslim? It's like, you know, it's sort of like asking, like, this is the truth. Why did you come to the truth?
Mm,
It's a bit weird question. So, this is
yeah.
very, very interesting to hear. But yeah, that's my whole thing with the hijab. I mean, so I'm just curious on your stance on that. What would you say? Because you said he was kind of traditional and whatnot. So when you get married, you're going to be a stay-at-home wife. Is that what you're going to be doing? You saying, or
Well, I don't see myself being a stay-at-home wife. Currently, I'm working,
okay?
and I enjoy my work, so I wouldn't give that up just yet. And what am I going to stay at home and do the whole day? I have things to do.
Like cooking, cleaning.
Cooking and cleaning doesn't take the whole day to sit at home.
Well, you ever thought about working from home? Has that ever been an idea? I mean, you don't seem like a pretty, thick brick. I mean, you don't seem you don't seem stupid. So, I mean, you ever thought of working from home?
I think with COVID, we have to work from home anyway. It's mandatory.
Manigas, what you want to go to work for? Just open your own agency or whatever you do. I don't know what you do. I'm not asking. I'm just saying, whatever you do, can't you make your own agency and just sort of self-employ?
Yes, I mean, if I want to be at home, I can be at home, but it's always nice to go out. I live in Addis right now, so it's very normal for you to have people at home helping you,
Mm,
with the cooking and the cleaning. So my focus is more on, my fiance and my life and my family rather than day-to-day chores.
okay. But I mean, we still come back to my original question. I mean, so why work for a company as opposed to working for yourself?
Sorry?
I'm saying, why work for a company instead of working for yourself? I'm just curious. This is
I think eventually everybody needs to work for themselves for
mm,
stability and your own fulfillment. But I think when you're young or when you're starting out and you don't have the experience, working for a company, you have that stability. You have that 9 to 5. You have somebody else making all the big decisions. You have a salary coming in every month. When you're working for yourself, you're responsible. You're making the decisions. You're responsible for loss. You're responsible for gain. I think there's a lot more stress
mm,
when you're working for yourself. But currently, I'm transitioning into working for myself. I think that should be the end goal for everyone, to be self-reliant.
okay. And your fiance is fine with this, like you working for, I don't know, whoever, whatever, corporation.
Yes, of course. I think if I'm happy, he's happy.
Okay, mashallah. All right, fair enough. She said Addis.
I live in
Addis.
Addis.
That means Ethiopia.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. You guys got to get out more. I haven't been there. That's
Literally,
like I was gonna go. I went to Kenya and I was gonna stop through, but I ended up leaving, cutting my trip short, and yeah, I never stopped
what were
through.
you doing in Kenya?
I got married.
So
What
you
else
you
would I do?
married.
I'm American. What else am I gonna do in Kenya? I ain't lost nothing there.
You didn't look at the wildlife and the beaches.
No,
So
it
you
was.
just came direct.
I went there. I got married the day I landed, and then I did the tour of Kenya, of course, of Nairobi. I was supposed to go to Mombasa, but I never got a chance to go because just things got really busy. I It's enough, just to see the place and the culture. I mean, just absorbing everything in terms of the cultural differences and whatnot was enough for the first trip. I mean, I'm not opposed to going back again, but it's really it was a real shock to me. And what shocked me the most was I'm walking around, I'm happy for once. Nobody's looking at me crazy because I'm black, I'm a big black dude because there's a bunch of big black dudes around there, but they still knew I wasn't from there. And I just don't know how. I'm like, how the hell do you guys know I'm not from Kenya?
Well, I
So,
think first your accent. People in Kenya don't have American accents.
nah, they show up and just hey, give me some. You're a tourist. I'm like, dude. So I went. I bought some Kenyan clothes. I went into a store and I was like, all right, everybody's wearing these shirts, these button-up shirts and whatnot with funky colors. And I started dressing like a Kenyan, and they still knew I wasn't Kenyan, and I wasn't talking to anybody. I don't get that. Africans are really smooth like that. They can
They
spot you in from
know.
there.
They know, and also it's such a small community everywhere. I think in Kenya as well, same as Addis. You know when somebody is an outsider, for sure.
Yep. Bro, yeah, I travel to get married. Well, I mean, what do you do? Edison, man, sometimes I like you, sometimes I don't, bro. You
How
really
did you find your wife in Kenya? That's quite interesting.
she was in Dubai, working in Dubai, and I traveled to Dubai, and then she'd gone back, and then I went over there, when she went back from Dubai. Because I was traveling, I was living and working in Qatar. I worked there 7 years. And I used to travel between Abu Dhabi and Dubai quite a bit for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu competitions because I was always fighting in I used to be a pro Jiu-Jitsu fighter, and the Abu Dhabi World Pro was there. And so, I'd go around, I'd stay in hotels and whatnot, and I met her there. Yeah.
So then you came to pick her from Kenya?
Yeah, of course.
And she's living with you now in Germany, or?
No, this is a long time ago. Man, a lot went down with that. I guess you don't really follow me. That girl, she got into a knife fight with one of my Somali wives. She got into a knife fight, and and I had to break it up. And she ended up cutting my hand with a knife while I was trying to break it up. And I was a military officer, basically in the Qatari Ministry of Defense. And it turned into like a really, really, really big deal because she basically injured a military officer. And so police got involved, immigration got involved, she got deported. And I was just like, I was like, you know what? Yeah, these guys are probably right. This isn't going to work.
She got deported, so she's back in Kenya now? Or?
Yeah, she's back in Kenya now. They put her in jail, actually. They jailed her for like almost 3 months before they deported her,
Oh my God. But
yeah,
didn't you? Rough. Why was she in a knife fight?
Women, jealousy and whatnot, they were just mad. And I put them in the same house as the first time I tried it. I think you see my Twitter, living with multiple women on one roof. I just decided to I'm going to do it. And I had no experience with it whatsoever. And I just said, and I just threw everybody in the house and I was just like, let's do it. And I didn't think about structure, systems, whatever else, that there had to be some sort of like, structure in place. I just thought, we're all just going to live together, and it didn't work out like that. So that was my first experience, my first experiment. I've since mastered it, but it's, yeah.
Sounds like a nightmare.
No, actually, it was quite fun at first. It was definitely, it wasn't a nightmare. Not always. I mean, the knife fight was kind of crazy, because I was kind of like, why am I the only person without a knife here? Well, was this arranged? You guys said you were going to meet after school and like with knives or something? Because, when the knives came out, I was like, man, well, where's my knife? Dang, ain't nobody got one for me. I kind of feel left out. So, it's kind of crazy, but it wasn't always bad. It was just, yeah.
Gosh,
I should have seen it coming.
Isn't it time for you to open your fast almost?
In another half hour.
Almost. How are you feeling?
I feel good. I feel fine. I was talking about this before you got the band hammer hit you. I feel great. The fasting hasn't been difficult this year. I guess maybe because it's still cool. Summer hasn't really hit here, so we're not dealing with any sort of high temperatures. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, we got questions. We got like 8 minutes left. The wife is starting to cook now, though. Those. Yeah. I'm pointing out the food. Yeah, those. If you guys have any questions, you guys got to ask them now. We got like 8 minutes left. I usually don't go over an hour. You guys know that. We've been kind of dragging this out here, but yeah. So, are you the viciously jealous type? If your husband was going to be like, I'm going to get another wife. I decided it's something we're going to do. You gonna whip out knives, or you gonna chill? You gonna cry in the bathroom? What type of woman are you if your husband decides to do that? Your future husband.
Well, I'd like to think I'm too classy to be whipping out knives and throwing them around. It's not really in my character.
Okay.
I think I would be. I don't think I would probably be a bit upset, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't be fighting, and I'd maybe have a little cry in the car on my own when it's raining.
Okay.
But I wouldn't be throwing punches, I don't think.
So you wouldn't be like the standard Western sister. Yeah, I want a divorce now. I'm gonna go home to my dad's house. You're not gonna do that type of stuff.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I love Ahmed, so whatever makes him happy. But I don't think I would. I don't think I'll start fighting as long as he's happy.
MashaAllah. My wife's impressed. I'm impressed. MashaAllah. Well, that's very good of you. You tell him watch this video so you can get some ideas. Thank me later, Ahmed.
Ahmed is
You owe
watching
me,
and
bruh.
probably smiling.
Tell Ahmed he owes me. Got it on record here. Yeah. Okay, mashallah. Well, that's really good. Guys, y'all ain't got any questions? What's up, man? Oh, actually, I saw a question here. What is it? Sorry. What is it? How did you decide that Kenya was a country to look for a wife? Why not some other country? I said it. I met her in Dubai. You know, I met my ex-wife who wants to come back. I was talking to her on WhatsApp recently. She wants to come back. Maybe she hasn't had enough with the knife fights. I don't know. I met her in Dubai, and she was leaving Dubai. We kind of met sort of passing airportish, and yeah, we just sort of developed like a conversational type thing to the point where we were like, we want to get married. This is a question for you. Ethiopia, how is it as a country? Is it good for business?
I think Ethiopia is good. It's beautiful. It's a lovely place to live. The weather is always good. The people are good. The food is obviously amazing. Business, I think in this economy, we're all struggling. It depends what business. Like a lot of places in Africa, you can have, if you find a niche, if you find the correct business, I mean, there's a lot of room for growth. Ethiopia is still developing. It's still a little bit behind. So there is a lot of room for new ideas, new businesses, growth, employment opportunities. But I think in this economy, everybody's struggling. It's hard for all of us.
I kind of heard I've heard, I don't know if it's correct. Maybe you can tell me. China is very, very like deep in infrastructure there. Infrastructure
Yes.
project.
Yes, it's true. It's true in a lot of East Africa, China and Japan. They've got their claws in, I guess.
Japan.
Building roads, highways, loans. In Kenya, I heard they gave a train called the SGR from the capital to the coast, and I mean Kenya massively in debt to China already. It's not looking good. They're deep in East Africa now.
Yeah, I've heard. Edison Doss. Is that the girl in the thumbnail? Yes, that's her. AK. Is it easy to find a girl in London who's okay with polygyny? If you're me, yes. I don't know if you're tall, muscular, black, good looking, kind of assertive. Yeah, no, I'm just joking. I mean, I think if you got like those attributes as that, if you're that guy, then yes. But if you're not that guy, then no. And a lot of guys aren't that guy. A lot of guys, we have ego problems a lot of times. We like to think we're that guy, and we're really not. And then you find it difficult to find a woman that's okay with polygyny. But if you're that guy, then you get that guy benefits. So, do you think it's possible to convince a woman to be in a polygynous relationship, or are they just set in their ways? That there is spelled wrong, bro. I'm an English teacher. I don't know why you guys come on here, man, with this bad grammar. Y'all give me conniption fits. I haven't taught English in years. Y'all are killing me. That's the wrong there. I have to do this every show. Let me deep breathe deep here. Okay. You can't convince a woman of anything. I don't think you can convince a woman of anything. I don't know. Maybe you can confirm or deny that.
I don't think so. I think you can manipulate somebody.
Yeah.
Which is obviously not the right way to be. But I don't think if somebody is very, very set in their ways, I don't think it's easy to convince them. I think it's dependent on the individual. I don't think it's a woman or a man. I think if an individual is susceptible to being convinced or manipulated, then yalla, I think you'll be able to do it. If there's somebody who has quite a strong character, who is very set in their ways, they don't like change, they don't like compromise, then you're going to have a difficult time. I think it's completely dependent on the individual. I don't think it's woman or man.
Yeah. I mean, I talked about this recently on my channel about manipulation. I have a different position on manipulation. I think that a man can and probably should manipulate a woman to her benefit, which obviously benefits the man also. I mean, I think if women weren't meant to be manipulated, they wouldn't be so easily manipulated. So,
Oh my
you know,
God, I don't think
they,
that's fair
it's
at
true.
all.
Women can be
No.
manipulated very easily because y'all are very emotional creatures in general. You know, you have very strong emotional reactions. And if you understand emotional reactions, what does that mean? You understand the outcomes. So if you can trigger an outcome, that means you control it, right? And so I think there's a beneficial manipulation to where it's like children. You know, sometimes a parent will say, if you brush your teeth, I'll get you this. If you get good grades, I'll get you that. So
So
that's beneficial.
you're comparing women to children?
I do say that women are, she's laughing because she knows how I think, that women are the most mature teenager in the house. They're the most responsible teenager in the house. Yeah.
And do you think men can be manipulated?
Oh, obviously. Yes, quite significantly. If a woman knows how to leverage her sexuality, she can easily manipulate a man. A man who has no control over his sexuality, and that's a lot of men, can easily be manipulated in the same way that a woman who can't control her emotions, and I talk about this on my channel also, can be easily manipulated. So, you know, but for the large part, you know, I do believe that men are obviously leaders, maintainers of relationships, society, and everything. And so there should be a type of positive manipulation for, you know, of the man of his woman. And it should be positive in terms of everybody. He gets what she wants. He gets what he wants. She gets what she wants. Everybody's happy. You know, so his manipulation is not something that's malicious or something that's like, you know, using or whatever else. Although at times it could probably be like that. But the vast majority of the time, it's in the same methodology that parents would manipulate their children to get good grades or brush their teeth or clean their room or whatever else, in that same sense.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Anis, you guys came too late with the questions, man. I'm about to try and close this off here. Well, actually, let's go take the last few couple questions here. Giselle, tell us about your upcoming husband, his attributes that you're attracted to. I don't know if that's any benefit to anybody here. I don't know if that's going to be.
It'll be a benefit to Ahmed when he hears it. So
Okay, there you go. Stroke his ego. Get it, girl.
nothing. I think it's important to have a fiance who is kind and supportive and honest. I think those are the most important things. Someone you can build your life with.
Okay. One for me. Would you advise against having multiple women in one house? No, I wouldn't advise against it. I would just say you have to be prepared, you know, and it requires a specific mindset, specific behaviors, a specific layout in the house, and understandings between everybody. It requires, this is why, two reasons why the only guides I have out right now are my vetting guide and my polygynous household guide, because these two things you need to be very detailed in and very specific in when looking for women that are the type that would live under one roof. And to understand, I think Edison, I think you said you are a Muslim. She has a right to deny it, you know, to reject that. She doesn't have to live under one roof with another wife. It's her right to have her own place. But it makes it easier if you're going to be a man who has multiple wives and you're going to have children with them, in terms of like protection and whatnot and deference. If you can't always decide where you're going to live. Like, you know, maybe you'll live 15, 20 minutes apart just because of like availability of apartments, you know? And so how does that work? If she's, you know, one wife's in trouble or she needs something or there's an emergency, you're going to drive 15 minutes to try and be, you know, her hero, or, you know, because that's really what you're supposed to be as your woman, you know, man, you're supposed to be her hero. So now the hero, Superman's got to take 15 minutes to show up. Come on, man.
Always come faster.
Yeah. So the police will exactly. The police will get there faster. So you got to call somebody else to be your wife's hero. Come on, man. So, you know, for me, I prefer it under one roof. I don't advise against it, but I do think that there's a lot that needs to be taken into consideration before you try it. Giselle, thank you for coming on.
It was my honor. Thank you for having me.
You said you might be down for coming back on.
Yes, but I think after Ramadan.
Come to Germany.
You say what?
Yes, of course, but I think after Ramadan.
Yeah, after Ramadan. So after Ramadan, she said she'd be camera up. Inshallah, hijab, right?
Inshallah, of course. I'll have my niqab for you on.
Jazakallahu khair. Barakallahu feek. So yeah, inshallah, maybe after Ramadan we'll do like part 2 or something like that, and we'll have a little bit more structure here. I just wanted to actually, like, you know, introduce you to the crowd and whatnot. And we could talk about. Hopefully, you won't be banned before then. If you do, then we'll have another topic also.
Of course, I'm sure I will be.
Well, thanks for coming on. I'm gonna get ready to break my fast because we're like 10, 15 minutes away. Inshallah. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Is there anything you want to drop? You got any products, anything like this? Something, some sort of service? You want to drop something, a link or something?
Yes, of course. So we are promoting some courses on how to use Twitter, the ones that you went on my profile.
Paste it here.
So follow Giselle on Twitter. Keep up to date with what I'm saying. Follow, I guess.
Is
And
your
click on our
Twitter on there?
courses.
No, it's not. Hold on. I'll post your Twitter also. Why am I struggling with this now all of a sudden? Oh, there we go. Yeah. Share, copy, link to profile. Sorry, guys. I should have had this ready. Boom. So there you guys got her link tree and you guys got her Twitter. You can give her a follow there. And you're almost out of Twitter jail, so you're not tweeting right now.
Inshallah, I'll be tweeting this evening as the second I'm out.
Try not to get banned again, inshallah.
Inshallah.
All right. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you. Shukran.